Hello, John Klesnick with Bonnet Pro. This job we're going to use the new Rocket Blast tile and grout cleaner, booster, and pre-spray for carpets on a tile job. So there's a little bit of tile at this location, and we got a couple different colors, and we have some tile up against marble over there in the eating area. But I think for the sake of this video, we're going to concentrate mostly on just the kitchen here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-spray this with the Rocket Blast I already mixed up. So I have this at 2 ounces per gallon into tap hot water out of the tap. So we're going to put this down, and you want to make sure you fill in the grout lines. You want to be careful with overspray, and we're going to give this about 10 minutes of dwell time. We'll hit it with a motor scrubber, and then we'll go over it with a Nautilus extractor and a squeegee with 4 jets in it to rinse it. Now, a truck mount with a spinner on it's going to produce a better result, I believe, because you have extra heat and you have extra agitation. But I think for this job, this tile's about 16 years old. I think, I forget how many years ago, I hit it with a spinner once, but when it was new, we had sealed it. So it's not in real bad shape, but it is time to clean it. So we're going to make sure we get these edges real good. And like I said, we'll give this about 10 minutes of dwell time. The sprayer gets it down there pretty quick, and we'll see what we get. So we've let the floor sit and dwell for about 6 minutes. One of the reasons you're going to let this dwell longer, even though this isn't a real heavily soiled floor, is one, it hasn't been cleaned maybe once in 15, 16 years now. But two, whenever you're dealing with an oxy product, you want to give the oxy time to work. So it's going to get time as I scrub, and there's going to be extra dwell time, but I'm starting somewhere, so we want to make sure that that place where I'm starting has a minimum of about 10 minutes worth of dwell time. Well, let's scrub this, and then we'll extract it off and dry it and see what we get. So I don't expect to see a whole lot of soil come out of this. I think it's more just a light discoloration as it's aged. So as we scrub this, that gives the chemical a chance to get in deeper as the brush dislodges and removes soil. It'll continue to, the chemical will continue to be able to reach in and further lift out soil, so when we flush it, we'll get a nicer result. All right, so I got about 10-12 minutes doing this little kitchen with this small tool. And what I'm going to do then too is even with something like this, there's still going to be corners and edges that you're going to want to scrub by hand. So I'm going to do some of that real quick, and then we'll get to the rinsing part of the job, and then we'll get it dried so you can see what the final result looks like. In reality, even when this is done, there may be a couple areas where some oils or something may have seeped into the grout, or you may have some imperfections in the grout, and sometimes that requires an acid, or even sometimes a straight peroxide can correct that, like with Revive It Oxy Spotter. But usually it's an acid, like a 1/2 pH or 1 pH acid. I don't think we're going to need to do that in this, but after we scrub this, you want to get to all the little areas that you can't quite reach with a spinner tool or with whatever machine you're scrubbing with. So just to have nice detail, it's good to go around and get all these grout lines that go right up to the So one dry pass and then one wet pass. Okay, so in about an hour, I was able to do this floor, pre-spray it, let it sit 10 minutes, scrub it, go over it with the motor scrubber tool, and then extract up the dirty water and rinse it. And then the other thing I do when I'm done is I'll take a towel and I'll go over the whole floor after it's rinsed. That gets any puddles or any wet spots that you miss when you extract the water. You're going to get that with a spinner tool or whatever you're using. And that just helps to detail it. And I'll go around the edges and corners if I think I need to, and take a cloth and just wipe out any quarters that the tool might miss. So 2 ounces of 2 ounces of Rocket Blast. How do you think it turned out? To me, it looks pretty white, considering we didn't use a spinner tool or a truck mount. And if you look around the floor, it's got a pretty even appearance to it. I think it turned out pretty nice for an hour's worth of work. You get about $200 to do this. Now, when I go out to do a job like this, I wouldn't measure this by the foot to charge. I would do a minimum. So if I was doing this house and doing the hallways and the dining room and the powder room and laundry room, I would start at a 3 1/4 minimum to drive out, to send out 1 or 2 guys, to set up the equipment, to do the work, and then depending on how big the job was, I would go up from there. If I needed to do it a second time, I would charge half of what the initial payment was. So if I did it with this, and this job looks nice, the tile's even, it's nice and bright, I don't need to do anything else to it. But if you got into a more difficult situation, you had to go back over a second time with the acid, since you're already there and set up, I would charge half of the initial. So if the initial was $300, say, I would add $150 to go over the second time, and then you would look at sealing the floor on top of that. So it could be a really good money maker. But our Rocket Blast did real good. We had a nice quick job here. If I get a little bit of overspray on the cabinets, we want to wipe that off. I'm not too concerned with it being on the carpet. I've actually put some on the carpet in my bedroom and left it there, didn't extract it, and the carpet looks fine and it feels fine. So no worries of overspray on the carpet without a rinse. But on anything that's a hard surface, it would leave a deposit, so you would want to rinse that off. So let us know what you think. Rocket Blast will be available soon, probably May of 2019, and we appreciate you watching. This is John Klesick with Bonnet Pro. Bye-bye.